Hey guys, what is up? Today we are doing a deck tech for Belbeecor the Dark Master. Belbeecor is a Grixis 3/6/5 flyer demon noble. He says when he enters the battlefield, you draw X cards and lose X life, where X is the number of demons you control. And also, whenever another demon enters the battlefield under your control, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. So this is a deck tech for some EDH Grixis Demon Tribal. The game plan is to play low costed demons and other mana ramp early game in order to play our commander and big demons to follow up later. The order does not really matter if we play our commander or the other demons first, as it's good in both instances because we're either drawing or we're burning. Now, the win con is to beat down opponents with big flying creatures and to use enter the battlefield effects of the demons to keep creatures off the field or just to burn our opponents directly. Diving into the cards, the only Planeswalker we're running is Mob Nixilis. He's Rakdos 1 casualty. Sometimes we can have two of them. We plus him. Each opponent loses 2 life unless they discarded a card. And if we have a demon or devil, which we will, we gain 2 life. It's just a little bit of burn. We can also just make a quick 1/1 devil blocker if we need him early. And then if we ult him, we draw 7 cards and lose 7 life. Going into the big creatures. Now we're a pretty high costed deck. So let's go into it. Archfiend of Depravity, 5 mana, 5/4, flying demon. At the beginning of each opponent's end step, that player chooses up to 2 creatures he or she controls, then just gets rid of the rest. He's good removal. Balor is like word soup on a card. He flies, he's a 5/5 for 5, which is a great rate. And then when he attacks or dies, you either have an opponent draw 3 cards and then discard 3 at random, or you just have to target opponent sacrifice a non-token artifact, so you get rid of their soul ring or whatever, or he deals damage to target opponent equal to the number of cards in their hand. So he's burned, you pick one of them. He's super good. Bloodthirster is a new card, flying trample. We just get multiple combats with him, and sure we can attack with the same person, but like if we just like full swing at all of like each of our opponents on a different combat, like all of our demons, or at least most of them, do have flying, and they're big, so they're not gonna be able to like block. He's gonna get like a lot of damage in. Burning Rune Demon. He's a little combo I have set up in this deck, but we'll talk about him. So he's a flying 6/6 for 6, which is a great rate, which a lot of the demons like are their rate. When he enters the battlefield, search your library for exactly 2 cards not named Burning Rune Demon that have different names. If you do, reveal those cards. An opponent chooses one of them, you put the chosen into your hand and the other into your graveyard, and then you shuffle your library. With him, we are going to get a card, 2 cards, Conjurer's Closet and Thassa's Oracle, and we will talk about them in a second. But ultimately, it's a free tutor to the battle. He tutors and then he'll do it again, and then it's just incremental value from there on out. Demon of Dark Schemes, he's just a little board wipe, and then sometimes we can just get some quick reanimation. It hoses weenie decks, and he's like a pseudo nuke. Plus, like worst case, he's like a 6 mana flying 5/5 that can sometimes reanimate. Still not bad. Demon Lord Belzenlock. He's a big boy, and he's just like kind of weird card draw. It's gonna deal damage to us, but it's just like a weird way of looking at card draw. Doom Whisperer to Surveil. He's just a big 5 mana 6/6 demon with 2 keywords, which is a great rate. He'll just help us scry, essentially. See if we want stuff in our bin, see if we want stuff on top. He's just good, like, draw support and top deck manipulation. Great Unclean One. That's a new card. At the beginning of your end step, each opponent loses 2 life. Not bad. Then, if the opponent has less life than us, we just make a 1/3 black demon named Plaguebearer of Nurtle, which will just kind of trigger our commander to just ping something anyway. Garuda, Doom of the Depths. There's not a lot of blue demons. You guys are going to see that. Blue is mainly a supporting color. Now, I know these 2 cards next to him are odd, but we do have a lot of even. There are a lot of 6 drops in this deck, so most likely he's going to hit one of our big demons when he enters. And worst case, even if he doesn't, we still get to pick through our opponent's stuff and pick really whatever the best option is. Herald of Slanesh. He is just a little cost reducer. He makes our demons much cheaper, which is a big deal because all of our demons are like, I don't know, 6 mana and above, give or take. And it just gives our demons haste. So, very good guy. Hidetsugo. We're not really worried about his scry effect. We're really worried about his tap effect, which is just weird extra card advantage that can also just hurt an opponent a lot. Cardor is another low-costed demon. He's a 4/3. When he enters, he forces your opponent's creatures to attack. Hopefully, we want them to attack us, so then we can just block with our big boys. And then whenever an attacking creature dies, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life, which is just good for combat stuff later on and when you're in, a multiplayer pod. It's just some good incremental drain. Lord Xander, he's for sure a demon. Many people just think he's a vampire. He is a demon. When he enters battlefield or attacks or dies, he just ruins someone's day. Nightmare Shepherd, if we like the effect of a demon and don't really care about their power and toughness, Lord Xander is a great example. We just get another one. It's just kind of like we can exile. It's not that big of a deal. We don't have a ton of recursion. We do have some, but not a ton. But if we do want these like big bomby effects, it's good to have. We have Orcus, who is a 5/3. He is just a nuke, or he reanimates. That's all he does. Worst case scenario, he's a 4-mana 5/3 with flying and trample. Overseer the Damned, pricey demon. When he enters the battlefield, kill a creature. Whenever a non-token creature dies, you just make a tapped 2/2 zombie. He's a good removal, and he gives us tokens. And it's not just like if we kill him, it's just like whenever one dies, like we just get a 2/2. Prince of Thralls, weird costed demon. He's a 7/7. Whenever a permanent, remember permanent, an opponent controls is put into a graveyard, put that card into play under your control, unless they pay 3 life. Now we have fetch lands and whatever costing much more. I mean, essentially, it's a big deal. You don't really think about it, but like having your stuff die and then getting bolted per things that die is rough. And I will concede he's a lot of mana, but he has, a good effect for that mana. Rakdos the Showstopper. He is a one-sided board wipe. Kinda. He's like half a board wipe. Flying trample 6/6 for 6. When he enters battlefield, just 50-50 kill all your opponent's creatures. And we leave ours alone. Rakshasa Debaser. When he attacks, put target creature from depending player's graveyard on the battlefield under our control. That's just good reanimator. Plus he's a good rate. We just take the best thing from their graveyard. And then we can encore him out later and do it 3 more times. Raphael, he is just not a demon. It makes me sad, but he's not a demon. However, he does give demons +1/+1 and lifelink, which is a big deal because he will give our commander lifelink. So now when a demon enters the battlefield, not only are we dealing that much damage, but we're also gaining that much damage back. There are a lot of things in this deck that just straight up cost life, and he is a great way to counter it. Plus, if something died on your turn, we just get like a 2/2 Red Devil. Not even bad value. Big Scary Razageth, he is just Demonic Tutor. That's all he is. You just search your deck, kill a creature, search your deck for a card. He's very good. Plus he's an 8/8 for 8 with fine trample. Not even a bad rate. Runescarred Demon is just, Diabolic Tutor on a guy. So he'll enter, deal 6 damage to whatever. He's a flying 6/6, and we just get a card. Silent Blade Oni, I think, is a funny little meme. Don't really read his big cost because we're always going to ninjutsu him in. When he deals damage, look at someone's hand, just play a card from their hand. Now, Thassa, Deep Dwelling, is one of the cards I mentioned earlier. The big keyword is, at the beginning of your end step, exile up to another target creature you control, then return to the battlefield. We have 2 things about Blink. We have this and Conjurer's Closet. So, for example, we'll look at Runescarred Demon. Runescarred Demon comes into play. We get a card, tutor our deck. Thassa's Deep Dwelling, we'll blink it. He'll come back into play. He'll deal another 6 damage, and we'll get another card. We're going to do that with all our stuff. We can even do it to our commander. We'll blink our commander, lose a bunch of life, and draw a bunch of cards. Finishing off the creatures, Vargoth, Bloodsky Sire. He's a Death Touch 2/3 for 3. He's probably one of our lowest costed demons. And when he attacks, we can pay 2 and just search our deck for a card and put it on top. And no one really wants to block a Death Toucher anyways, so we'll probably get it. And also, it doesn't matter if they block because we just do this ability on attack. Then we have Vilis, Broker of Blood, big scary 8/8. The big thing is, pay a mana, pay 2 life, target creature gets -1/-1 until the turn, and then whenever we lose life, we draw that many cards, which we lose life pretty frequently. Let's go to Sorceries. Demonic Tutor, it's good flavor. That's really the reason that I just like Demonic Tutor. It's a good card. Get you another good card. And it's on flavor for the deck. Kindred Dominance. We are a big mana deck. We just simply are. So a 7-mana nuke that is a one-sided nuke isn't that big of a deal. We have Living Death. So if something does nuke, or we have a lot of guys in our grave, they keep getting countered or whatever, right? Someone's playing control. We don't like it. We play Living Death, and hopefully we do the old switcheroo from the graves to the fields. It kind of does help our opponents, but it kind of does help us too. And most likely, our big demons are going to be bigger and better than whatever our opponents are playing. Patriarch's Bidding is kind of just a weirder version of Living Death. It's not really a switcheroo. Everyone just names a creature type. We say demon, and they get all creatures from their graveyard back. The nice thing about this is most people are not playing tribal decks, right? So if we have a filled graveyard or whatever, we get all our demons back to the field. And if someone's like playing another tribal deck, oh well, we help them. But if not, then they probably get like 1 or 2 creatures back. We have Reanimate. Reanimate is a tough one. It's a 1 mana sorcery. We just get a demon from the battlefield. From our grave to the battlefield. We will lose a chunk of life, but it's probably worth it in the end. Death is a small price to pay for immortality. Next, we have Torment of Hailfire, which is slightly off-centered from the other cards. Torment of Hailfire, we're a big mana deck. We're just going to pump as much as we can into it, and hopefully it just kills someone or multiple people. Next two sorceries, Toxic Deluge. It's just a nuke. Most of our demons are like 5/5s or 6/6s. So it's not really going to affect us too much if we just pay like 5 life and like wipe the field. And then we have Victimize. Victimize, we just get 2 creature cards back at the cost of 1. It sucks, but 2 is better than 1. Instance, we have Bedevil because Bedemon isn't a card. But it's good removal, kills an artifact, creature, or planeswalker at instant speed. We have Chaos Warp, which we just, again, get rid of something we don't like. Hopefully whatever they get isn't worse than whatever we got rid of. And then we have Counterspell. We're blue. Come on. We're going to play Counterspell. It's our one little out to deal with something we don't like. Cyclonic Rift is another blue staple. Just a one-sided board wipe for 7 mana. And again, we're a big mana deck. Dark Ritual. Another point. We're a big mana deck, right? It is just a quick way to get to our bigger creatures faster. It's just a one-off card, but that one-off card could be a big deal later on. We have Terminate, which is just kill a creature, can't be regenerated. 2 mana. Easy, fast, simple. We got a lot of artifacts in this deck because we have a lot of mana rocks. Arcane Signet is a mana rock. Bolus the Citadel is not, but it does help us play demons from the top of our deck just for fun. And since we do have some little life gain nonsense, it won't necessarily kill us. We have Chromatic Lantern just to filter us out because we are playing a 3-color deck, and that's not always super reliable. Next, Conjurer's Closet, just like Thassa, it's just another blank target. We're going to exile stuff to get their enter the battlefield abilities, or even if we can't do any of that, they don't have any, doesn't matter. We're still going to work with our commander to either draw cards or just burn someone. We have Dimir Signet, it's just a rock. Herald's Horn makes our demons cost 1 less, and sometimes it'll just give us an extra draw. Is it Signet? I don't know if it is, but it's just a rock. Mask of Grizzlebrand, funny thing. We're going to put it on our commander because it's going to give our commander lifelink. Flying is irrelevant. But it's going to give us commander lifelink, so then whenever a creature demon does enter, it'll burn. We'll gain that much life back, so it's kind of a 2-for-1. Plus, whenever he dies, because he is a dead-on-board commander, we can pay some life and we can draw a bunch of cards. We can get like 6 cards if we need to. Plus, Grizzlebrand is banned. We can't run him. Little homage, whatever, it doesn't matter. Another off-centered card, we have Rakdos Signet. It's just a rock. Going on, Skyclave Relic. It's a rock that's indestructible, and sometimes it's 3 indestructible rocks. Soul Ring, because it's Soul Ring, you're an idiot if you don't run it. And Thran Dynamo, 4 mana, but it'll give us 3 mana in return, right? So it really only costs 1 mana in the grand scheme of things. Final 2 artifacts. Urza's Incubator. This card in real life is very pricey. It's like $50. 3 mana, we say demon, makes our demons cost 2 less. Then, final artifact and enchantment kinda, Whip of Erebos. 4 mana, it's going to give our creatures lifelink. Again, we're going to lose a lot of life. We got to have a way to get it back. And then also, we can have a quick little reanimation for 4 mana if we do want to get some damage and gain some life back. We don't have many enchantments, but let's go through it. Animate Dead, we just get a guy back. Easy, easy. Liliana's Contract. When it enters the battlefield, draw 4, lose 4 life. Good rate. 5 mana, not bad. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 4 or more demons with different names, and we will because it's commander, we win the game. This is just a fun little bit of spice, right? It's not going to be super reliable, but it's on flavor. We're going to have the demons with different names, and worst case, it's just 5 mana, draw 4 cards, lose 4 life. Not a big deal. Now, Mark of the Oni It may not be the smart play, but it is the fun play. Just look at that guy, right? You control enchanting creature. We just take our opponent's best creature, and at the end of our turn, if we don't have a demon, we sacrifice it. And come on, we're demon tribal. We just steal our opponent's best creature. It's fine. Reflections of Litjara. We're going to say demon. Whenever we cast a demon, we copy that spell. We're basically just going to start 2-for-1ing our own stuff. Rhystic Study, because it's Rhystic Study, we will draw a bunch of cards. And Meat Hook Massacre, because similar to Toxic Deluge or whatever, our drops are like 5 drops, 6 drops. We can just say 5 or less and just wipe the board. Let's go to lands. Ancient Tomb. Big mana deck means big mana costs, and we're going to have to shock ourselves. Blood Crypt, we're running all the shocks. Cavern of Souls, we're going to say Demon. It's just a good land to filter, and it's going to make our demons uncounterable, which is kind of a big deal if we're like you don't want to spend 6 to 8 mana and just have your guy be countered. I will say, though, I know Ancient Tomb isn't necessary, the shock lands aren't necessary, but for a big mana deck like this, I would shell out a little bit more for a Cavern of Souls. Command Tower, because it is just Command Tower. Crumbling Necropolis is just worse Command Tower. Dragon Skull Summit, we're running the checks. Drowned Catacomb is a check. Exotic Orchard is I like Exotic Orchard. In any deck that is 3 colors plus, put Exotic Orchard in it. Most likely, one of your 3 opponents is going to be playing at least one of your colors. It's just an untapped, Triumph in most examples. And if someone has, a City of Brass or whatever, it's just an untapped land that taps for any color with no cost. It's great. Haunted Ridge, part of the newer Innistrad cards. I think they're good. I think these, what are they, slow lands, I think they're called? I think they're fine in Commander. I actually think they're really good in Commander. I think arguably you could say they're better than check lands. Path of Ancestry. We're running Tribal. It's Tribal. Reliquary Tower. We draw a lot of cards in this deck. Just our Commander alone can make us draw a lot, and having no max hand size is a big deal. Shipwreck Marsh is just another little fast land. Then we have Steam Vents for a shock, Stormcarved Coast for a fast land, and then Sulphur Falls for the final check land. Continuing off, Urborg. Urborg's not necessary. I just kind of think it's cute. I think it's a fine idea. We're not running any Cabal Coffers or anything, but just being able to make all of our lands black because we are insanely black heavy. Black is our biggest color, so that's kind of the primary reason, but it always just couldn't hurt. Watergrave is our shock, and then Xander's Lounge is our Triumph. Taps for all our colors. We can fetch it somehow if that need be. I don't think we could, though. And it has cycling, so if we get it later, we don't want it, no big deal. Looking at our basics, 5 islands, 10 swamps, 5 mountains. I think that totals us up to about 38 lands total. And to finish it off, this deck is completely like this, as you see, $730. The deck is 13% blue, 71% blacks, and 15% red. And then we have a little 1% of hybrid multicolor stuff splashed in there. But that's all I got for you guys. Thanks for watching. Like the video, subscribe, and most importantly, comment what deck I do next, because I like making these, and this guy really stood out to me. Thank you guys again, and I will see you next time.